Guys, we're going to open up the meeting. If you can all take your seats. That's probably one of the single-most important somewhere. So 601st meeting of the Board of Trustees will come to order. Please rise, salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Trustee Drucker, would you be kind enough to call the roll?
Certainly. Anthony Carnaccio is not present. John DeGrace.
Present.
Arnold Drucker is present. George Gordon.
Present.
Linda Green.
Present.
Wanda Jackson.
Present.
Edward Powers is not here. Donna Tooman.
Present.
Kathy Weiss.
Present.
Michael Hill.
Present.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you. I'm going to request a motion that the board go into executive session pursuant to Section 105 of the Open Meetings Law of the
I
State of
make
New
a
York
motion.
to discuss matters relating to negotiations involving the ungraded administrators of NCC, 2, to discuss matters relating to negotiations involving the NCCFT, 3, to discuss litigation regarding Gorman et al., and 4, of reviewing the medical, financial, credit, employment history of a particular person or corporation or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, removal of the particular person or corporation. I have a motion of Trustee Drucker. Do I have a second?
I second.
Green, all in favor?
Aye.
All against? Motion carries 8-0. We will be back at approximately 7:30, 7:45. We expect this, maybe 8 tops. Okay? The chair is going to resume the meeting at 7:31. Trustee Drucker, would you be kind enough to call the roll? Kathy, get in there. Get in.
Yes, I'm fine. Shoulder surgery in a minute.
Do it, put it down.
Just doing a little of the mics. Okay. I'm good. It's good. It's good. It's good.
Trustee Drucker, would you be kind enough to call the roll?
Yes, certainly. Anthony Carnaccio, present.
Yes, I used to hear something.
John DeGrace.
Present.
Arnold Drucker is present. George Gordon.
Present.
Linda Green.
Present.
Wanda Jackson.
Present.
Edward Powers.
Present.
Donna Tooman.
Present.
Kathy Weiss.
Present.
Michael Hill.
Present.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum and 100% attendance.
Wonderful. Do I have a motion to approve the September 13, 2016 minutes?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Tooman, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Any abstention? Motion carries 10-0. Finance and Capital Committee expenditure. Trustee Weiss, would you be kind enough?
My pleasure. Resolved that the pending college procurement agreement with the Best Climate Corporation in the amount of $500,000 as requested by the Vice President of Facilities Management is approved by the Nassau Community College Board of Trustees, Finance and Capital Committee, and will be recommended to the full Board of Trustees for approval.
So do I have a motion to consider this item? So moved. Mr. Carnaccio. Do I have a second?
I second.
Trustee Green, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any abstentions? Motion carries 10-0. Trustee Hills, would you be kind enough to read the next?
Is it okay if it goes straight to resolve?
Yeah, just go to the resolve section on the next page. Make life easy.
I figured I'd say that.
Trustee Hills.
Be it resolved that the Nassau Community College Board of Trustees accepts the donation of 200 yards of assorted print and
solid knitted fabrics from Scarlet Dress Company.
So do I have a motion to consider this item?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Tuna? Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any abstention? Motion carries 10-0. Trustee Powers, would you be kind enough to read item 3?
Item 3, be it resolved that the Nassau Community College Board of Trustees affirms the acceptance of 14 Hayworth Model 3 drawer filing cabinets from UBM LLC.
Do I have a motion to consider this item?
I make a motion.
Mr. Drucker, any second?
Second.
Trustee Weiss, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any abstention? Motion carries 10-0. I'm going to make a motion on Article 4, Section 3 of the Board's Rules and Procedures to allow for the consideration of 2 items that did not appear on the calendar. Can I get a second?
I second.
Trustee Jackson, thank you. Who was it? Trustee Green?
That's great.
Green, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I just heard a voice from the left. All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Motion carries 10-0. Trustee Grace, would you be kind enough to read item 5?
Therefore, be resolved, the Nassau Community College Board of Trustees approves that an appropriation be established in the amount of $250,000 in equal revenue and expenses in support of this project.
Do I have a motion to consider this item? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Timmon? Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Motion carries 10-0.
Just a comment, it's the medical technology program, because it wasn't in the last sentence when it said this project. So that's what it
It's
is.
a medical tech program. Okay.
Great.
Trustee Jackson, would you be kind enough to read item 6?
It says this project, I didn't know people knew.
Thank you.
Therefore, be it resolved, the Nassau Community College Board of Trustees approves that an appropriation be established in the amount, sorry, you said 6?
Yes, number 6.
6,
Yeah, you're
okay, in
correct.
the amount of $250,000 in equal revenue and expenses in support of this project. And the project is federal grant, federal grant from the Perkins Grant Program.
So do I have a motion to consider this item?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Timmon? Any further discussion?
Yeah, she jumps right in, so she's got the skin.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Motion carries 10-0. Trustee Cornacchia, would you kind enough to read item 7?
Resolved that the Nassau Community College Board of Trustees approves and adopts the 2016/17 capital plan.
Do I have a motion to consider this item?
I so moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We're going to get a buzzer.
Yeah, really.
We're going to do a buzzer with a light to see who, the split decision. So Trustee
Good on
Tuman,
the
all in
thing,
favor? Any further discussion? I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any motions against? Carries 10-0. We have one election that was open, which was for vice chair of the college. I'm going to open up the floor for nominations.
It says on the,
I know it was narrow.
so we cross out chair, right?
Cross-out chair, it was just vice chair. So open the floor for nominations.
I nominate the existing office holder, Chair Weiss, Vice Chair Weiss.
Second.
Any further nominations?
I nominated Powers.
I decline.
Respectfully.
Respect.
He wants the big slot. Doesn't take second.
Any further nominations?
Gotta wait a year.
Nominations are closed. Having one person elected for the position, you want to hand out ballots? Or you want to just do by show of
I think
vote?
we do by acclamation.
Acclamation.
I don't think we have to waste time.
Okay. All in favor for?
I acclaim.
You
We all
All
acclaim?
we
acclaim.
have to do is a claim.
Acclaim.
Don't we need for the formal thing
Yes.
to have it up record?
Get voted out.
I think-
Well, that's why I
It can be
was,
done orally. Do it
Yeah, do it orally.
what happened, yeah, you can do it orally, but you have to have a written record that goes into the vote.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why. That's why we had the vote, just
Yeah.
to put it down.
So it looks like it's.
You want to
All
go
in favor?
unanimous?
Yeah, Mr. Paris, you
You can
vote?
report that it was unanimously approved?
It's fine by me.
So it's 10 in favor.
10 in
correct?
favor.
You don't have to actually have a piece of paper, it's documented.
Because it's a record that we're all voting.
We're all voting.
It's a record.
Unanimous.
Yeah.
Unanimous vote, it'll be recorded in the minutes.
Thank
Is
you,
this an era of
everyone.
good feeling?
Okay?
An era of
Thank
good
you.
togetherness here?
Yeah.
Yes.
I like
Kumbaya.
this.
It's a
Keep going.
kumbaya.
10-0 to every vote.
There you go.
That's it.
May we do that at every meeting?
I'm sure. Reports of the standing committees. Do we have anything outstanding? Okay, we'll take then a report from our new president.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm pleased to report, and most of my comments, at least most of the time I'll spend, will be on our foremost concern, and that is the work that we're doing to respond to the Middle States Association's charges on our accreditation standards. And so first I want to commend the board for the work it's doing on the rules of procedure as well as the document on making policy. I think that this response to the Middle States Commission's report in June 23rd of this year is clearly addressed with your taking up this the development and the revision of the policies, pulling together the policies, which can now go into a manual, once they're adopted, planned for the November board meeting, can go into a manual of policies for the board's regular reference. So I think the draft of the revisions that you adopted tonight will serve the board well, and I think the future operation of the board can be clarified by these documents. So every day here we are involved deeply in the work to address the Middle States Commission's deficiencies that they've pointed out. We've been striving for a balance, and I have to say we're getting very good cooperation among everyone between emphasizing the importance of the endeavor while at the same time not raising alarm that we could get another negative response and a further difficult and a much more difficult future for the college if we don't get through this particular report and review of the committee, of the visiting team that will come at the end of November. So I think we've been doing a good job at that because there are changes underway and need to be attained that do create tensions within the community. So I want to thank everyone who's worked with us in this regard. I think we are navigating that pathway very well. But we need to attain our greatest goals of complying with the accreditation standards because we will not be easily treated if we're not responding to them. And as I've been saying, and optimistically so, we will get this done. We are going to come out of this with compliance on all of these standards, as well as the, even the detailed recommendations that have been charged to us. We know the report will now that we are now preparing is critical in convincing this visiting team, which will not, but the commission will not meet until March. And therefore, we won't know the commission's decisions on these things until March. However, the report that comes back from the visiting committee will come pretty quickly, and that report will be very much the way, it will be the way the report goes to the commission, and the commission's actions following that will pretty much follow what we learn as the committee, as the visiting team completes its report. So this report, though, by the way, is just the first step in what we have to do over a period of months, and actually we've been given up to 2 years to complete this process. And so I want to emphasize that there is going to be important work to do, some of which which is underway, but we'll have to conclude this work somewhere down the road in terms of fully responding and getting the clearance from the Middle States Commission that we've attained. So the most serious deficient standards, in my view, is concerning governance, and that is concerning the board, the administration, and the faculty of the college. The essential outcome is that we must address these governance issues while preserving the cherished and valued shared governance that we experience in the higher education community. As I stated, the board has taken an important step in this regard in assembling and revising its policies. I've said in other forums that I'm not saying that obeying the formality of the law and the regulations that govern us, and that is the state education law and the rules and regulations of the state. These things basically outline what we need to do, but the fact is that we still have the hard work in the community of making these things work. So the formal dictates do not essentially reach to where we must get to in building the working relationships in the community. The next challenges that we face are in planning and internal governance structures. The strategic plan that is in place lapses with this academic year, although as far as I can tell, we haven't been really closely following the plan that's in place in any case. But we do need a plan that will guide the college's development, and so, in my opinion, we have to address this issue in the environment that we're in, and we need to do it in a very effective way. So planning is so intimately tied to the future of the college that it must engage the entire college community. And from the beginning of devising the organizational structure for that planning, we must take up the work of devising a realistic plan that we can involve the full campus community on. And this is work, by the way, that takes place largely outside the site and the experience of the board. But we will be coming back to you with a plan once it is finished. Another aspect of planning that had not gone well in recent years is the development of a performance improvement plan that was requested and basically directed by the SUNY Board of Trustees. This plan is not on record with the State University, and therefore we suffer a bit for not being eligible to apply for certain funds that are only provided within the context of that performance improvement plan. So it's important that we take this up, but not as a separate issue, because the elements of that performance improvement plan, there are about 17 items, are basically the things that we need to be doing as a part of our own planning. And so what we will do is integrate the performance improvement plan into the college's plan. So it's necessary to take up some reform, and then the next major item, and one that we have been discussing on the campus, and I think we are, we're approaching this issue in good faith all around, and we know that it's something that we need to accomplish, and that is that we need some reform in the internal governance structures. We know that those structures served the college well for a long time, when the personalities or the persons in place were able to, and this includes the board, the administration and faculty, they worked for many years, but I do not think that they would ever work in their current form again with new administrators coming in at some point down the road into the future. So we need that kind of reform, some reform in the internal governance structure. And by the way, we are putting together this report, and today, actually for 2 days in a row, Vice President Collins and staff have been working to get this ready to distribute on the campus, and it will go out to the campus when? Tomorrow?
Thursday.
Thursday. It'll go. The draft will go out to the campus on
Yeah,
Thursday.
rough draft goes out on Thursday.
Pardon me?
I said it's a draft.
A draft goes out on Thursday for the input of the campus, and then we'll consider the feedback that comes before we put together the final report. And we have not, and could not actually reach the point of any kind of internal governance consideration, at least not completely before submitting this report. So that still needs to be done. And then let me just report briefly on one other aspect of our functioning, and that is enrollment, which has such great implications for us. While this is not a complete report, I have been in various forums mentioning that our enrollment has dropped by about 7%, just under 7%, I believe the official number, which means another hit on our budget, and therefore as we go into the spring term, we'll be making budget again, and it's something that we need to consider because the reduction with the 2 previous years drop in enrollment, and therefore the impact on our budget has not been easy for the campus to absorb. So we lost over 100 professors last year, and we replaced only a few of those. So we lost the senior faculty who brought so much in their own roles. But we could replace only a few of those because we were just short on budget. It's an important aspect of going into the spring term for our consideration. So let me just quickly report a few other items, and these are happy items, so to speak. Not that the others are unhappy, they're realistic ones. You know, every day I read all of the activities that go on the campus, and although I'm not going to report on, you know, a whole range of these things, there are far too many, but I'm really impressed with the academic vigor, the social responsibility that's shown in all of these activities that go on. And it's been really impressive to me to see that full range and involvement of so many faculty and staff in these activities on the campus. I also want to acknowledge, as you did in your committee meetings, the approval of the county legislature of our capital bonding authority. So that provides from the county $18 million and from the state $18 million. So thank you for that, and thank the county for that, and also thanks for our efforts. Kate Murray has been persistent on this and stayed until the 11 o'clock or whatever it was hour of adjournment with the legislature on Friday evening, I guess it was, right? And then I have to commend the foundation for a very nice event called Men Who Cook. Professor Stefan Crumpier scored very high in that, and so and Vice President Muscarella also did very well. And so
What'd you cook?
Second.
it was. Oh, you did cook, right?
Yeah, with a major assist from my wife. That she reminds me of every day. But it was simple, just so you know. All I had to do was take 5 ingredients, and once she showed me the difference between a teaspoon and a tablespoon, I put them together in a saucepan and mixed them. And I actually did pour them on the salmon.
You're all right, Scott.
I wasn't calling you out by saying you did, but
I didn't get it from Top Flight. Oh, that's right, they're no longer here, sorry.
yeah. But actually, it was a good event because it also raised some money for the foundation's good works. And it was also a very nice social event. There was just a very good attendance, a lot of people there. And I had another meeting with the student government. Actually, I attended their student government senate meeting. And earlier, I think I reported on having met with the executive committee of the student senate. And these are some just outstanding student leaders of their organization. So I want to commend them for that. We've also received approval of a $125,000 grant from Deputy Speaker Earlene Hooper. She's been kind enough to support us by advocating at the state legislature, and so we'll get those funds, which are going to be earmarked primarily for the recruitment of students, and especially Latino students who comprise a growing proportion of our students here. And so we're pleased about that, and we'll find an opportunity to publicly thank Assemblywoman Hooper for her work on that. And finally, to the board, let me remind you that there is a November 1 workshop from 5 to 8 p.m. With the Association of Community College Trustees consultant who held the earlier session. And so that's on November 1, that workshop is coming up. So, Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, President King. We're going to go to the speakers list. I have Evelyn DeLudy.
I'm Evelyn DeLudy, Academic Senate Chair. Good evening. A year ago last October, I spoke to you about my concern related to the integrity of the college's Middle States report. The self-study included statements about the college's fiscal soundness, which contradicted the dire financial state we found ourselves in. Factual inaccuracies, misrepresentations of the Academic Senate, and a climate of secrecy clouded the Middle States report. This culminated in failure of half of the Middle States standards, a rather grim outlook. Today, I'm optimistic that we will secure compliance with the standards we failed. This is in large part due to Dr. Keene's leadership. Dr. Keene has taken steps to revive the transparency and open communication that integrity requires, and Middle States specifies that integrity is not limited to Standard 6, but as Middle States says, quote, can manifest itself through the institution's conduct within each of the other standards, end quote. In short, Middle States requires transparency and open communication to guide us in addressing all the requirements. We're heartened that Dr. Keene has revived the role of the President as the conduit between the Academic Senate and the Board of Trustees. He has thereby initiated a return to the climate of civil discourse that the Middle States examiners found on this campus the last time around in 2004. At that time, NCC was praised, and I'm quoting, for its strong collegial decision-making environment through the use of the Academic Senate, end quote. That report went on to highlight the strong shared governance model at NCC. And it stated that, quote, NCC faculty are appropriately involved in both the creation and review of curricula and demonstrate a high degree of collegiality and mutual respect, end quote. The 2016 Middle States visiting team visited and found a very different campus, one in which they spoke of the expected climate of shared collegial decision-making lacking. And they said that they found a hostile and uncivil environment. This was largely due to the 6-year period of administrative instability. We've turned a corner and begun to rebuild our community. We value your efforts in addressing the board's Middle States requirements. However, passage of the board policies next month would threaten the path that we have started on. The policies slash the collegial decision-making model that facilitates the governance channels among the Academic Senate, the administration, the president, and the Board of Trustees. Give us time to complete what Middle States asks of us, a formal review of the roles and responsibilities and authorities of all constituencies. And they ask us to do this in a thoughtful, deliberative, collaborative fashion. That's what Middle States requires of us. Allow our new president to carry out the governance role to navigate this process. For that, we need more time. Anything less will not sustain the transparency and open communication that Middle States asks us when they require integrity to be infused into our compliance with all Middle States standards. Thank you.
Dr. Louis, I was under the impression that the November report we have to make has to show progress, substantial progress regarding that area.
Indeed it does, Trustee Carnaccio. But progress does not mean you have to have passed those policies, because that, in a sense, would contradict what Middle States is asking, that there's open discussion and communication. Progress means that you are working on those policies, which you clearly can demonstrate. If you look at the requirements in the Middle States report, there are very many requirements. Middle States does not expect us to finish the job. Middle States wants evidence that we are working on this. Now, when Middle States team came on August 3rd, and the liaison came, Dr. Faison was here from Middle States, one of the Middle States Commissioner, Corporal Kowalski.
I'm a very profane guy. He
Okay.
scared me.
He was here. The Colonel was here. He was part of the team, and VP Meckel from SUNY were here. The overall message was, give us evidence of what you're doing. The overall message was, you can't get everything done by November 1st. We need evidence of what you're doing. That's what they want to see. That doesn't mean the policy is finished, because if the policy is passed and the college community has not had sufficient time to discuss it, the consequences will not be what Middle States wants of us.
Has there been progress on the part of the faculty toward taking care of this problem? Is there something that we can definitively
What
say?
problem? Are we talking about these policies?
We're talking about...
we're talking about the board policies.
My understanding is we're talking about...
I mean, we
He has to
have
answer. I
three
can't talk
forums.
anymore?
We have
No,
three
you asked a
forums.
question, he hasn't
No,
answered
because we
the
have
question.
three forums set up. I mean, I'm sure Dr. Key will mention.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, well, if I could comment, I mean, you know, I'm not a member of the board.
You do
but
anything you
the
want.
president-
You actually are a member of the board.
Okay, so first of all, most all of the policies that you see there, except for some things like the code of conduct and a few additions, have been here for decades, and they have only been brought to light so that you are now looking at them for the first time in the detail, which lead you to think that it will have some serious impact. The second point I would make is that these were introduced at the September board meeting, and then the delay is to the November, and so there's 2 months during which to have that discussion. And a third point is that these policies actually do not exceed in any way the education law and the regulations of the state. So the board works within those things. And then a fourth point that I would make is we've got 3 public sessions at which we will focus on these and to discuss the impact that it might have on the internal governance structure of the college.
If I may just comment to answer your question further, but if these documents existed, they were never circulated to the campus, so the campus first learned of them now, about 6 weeks ago. And in September at the beginning, we didn't have access to them because it did take some time for us to have them circulated to the campus, as it will take some time to have the revised documents that were just, one was discussed today with revisions circulated. Regarding the statutes, we all respect New York State education law, but we also know that in our country we certainly have more than a dozen lawyers, and statutes have to be discussed, and statutes have different ways of understanding them, and that's what open discussion is. And so that's why we're asking for the board to wait so that we can have this discussion in the community, because in the end what we want is for the community to come together so that we all agree on what we're doing. because that's what we're trying to build. We're trying to build a collaborative process so that we come together on this. We don't want something passed and then have a negative reaction to it. And that's why I am
Dr.
requesting.
Lilly, if I may, I believe though that what you're gonna have is you're actually having 3 open houses.
That's what I was just gonna say, yeah.
You know, so, public sessions. So please make sure that now that the documents are disseminated and all the folks are there, bring up whatever concerns you have at these public sessions so that the president is made aware of them, we can understand what specific items you are concerned about. Because obviously, it's a large document and it's not going to be A to Z, there's going to be 1 or 2 or 3, whatever items they are, you will bring them to light to us so that we can specifically look at them.
And we certainly will do that. And
Okay.
I plan to do that, but may I just add, as Dr. King pointed out, we've been working rather vigorously on the whole Middle States report. And this has been an enormous undertaking under Dr. King's
I
leadership.
grant that, but
And so I
this was
just,
an important point with the undercon, that colonel, okay?
right.
And one thing that I remember him saying is, I don't want pie in the sky, I don't want that, we're working on it, it's going to get done. We want to see real progress. We want to see positive things that have occurred. And that, I think, is something that's impelling what you were talking about.
I think it's best left at this point, let's just leave it that we will have these public sessions. At the public sessions, the feedback from the faculty regarding these documents will be made known to us so that we can engage in discourse. Fair enough?
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, thank you. Frank? You guys are ruining my record, I wanted to be out of here by 8.
I only got 3 minutes up. So
Make sure you say goodbye to,
Wait.
Stop.
Hey, Frank Fresenda, President NCCFT. I just want to, just support some of the things well, everything Evelyn said, but, Dr. Keene has agreed to meet with members of the faculty. He has met with us. We have several more meetings planned in the future that even go beyond the next Board of Trustees meeting. And we have these forums set up. Okay. Now, to hear the concerns of the faculty at the forum, and if you're just going to aggregate all that information, and Dr. Keene is going to pass it on to you, with all due respect to everybody, there may be just some noise in there, okay? And so the concerns that we have, the leaders on the campus, the academic leaders on the campus, and the concerns that the administration has, the concerns that the board have, these issues have to be discussed, they have to be vetted, and my concern is just that, if the board gives the appearance, okay, of trying to ram these policies through in such a fragile period in the life of this college, it may not serve a positive purpose. So, I'm not talking about something dying by committee, okay? I understand the urgency of this situation, and to answer your concerns, Tony, all right, I think that, should, and not should, but when faculty leaders voice or list the concerns that we have with 1200 and 1300, okay, and Dr. Keene has that information in front of him, and those discussions begin, I think that's concrete evidence with Middle States that we're trying to work this thing out, because it's not going to be considered or viewed as worked out should these policies just be enacted and people on the campus feel disenfranchised. Remember, the policy 1200 and 1300 keeps saying things like in accordance with statute this and statute that and statute this. Well, that's an interpretation of the statutes. We have a different interpretation of the statutes. And what I ask is, please, let's try to work this out together, okay? And let's not let the attorneys and the courts make that decision for us. That is not going to serve our purpose.
Frank, what I'm just going to ask is, please, when you guys are
That
ready,
list is coming.
make it as specific as possible with
Absolutely.
the concern so that, you know, like I said, it's a big document. Let's zone in on what the concerns are so we can have that discussion.
I am not saying 1,200, 1,300 are unacceptable. Keep it. I understand,
You know where
and
we're
you'll
at.
get
Okay.
it.
Then
And
we're
you'll get
good.
it. So all I'm saying is, first, and I want to say this, I want to once again recognize Dr. Keene and Dr. Collins for their competence. I want to recognize them for their energy. I want to thank them for their honesty, all right, in working with us. And to all of you, I hope that we can start working together, not at cross purposes, okay? And Mr. Drucker, we'll see you in Mineola, and wish you the very, very best. Okay.
I'm going to preface this out by saying, who remembers Johnny Carson?
Yeah.
Who remembers Carnac the Magnificent? The answer is Drucker. And the question is, who will be the new legislator representing Plainview as of November? Marty Drucker. I'd like to say that...
Thank you, George, for your confidence.
No, wait. I'm going to interrupt you. Mr. Drucker has been a trustee of unparalleled integrity, energy, enthusiasm, and has performed with his co-worker, co-trustee, Wanda Jackson, in the Presidential Search Committee, a very difficult and engaged process over a long period of time. This college owes a debt of gratitude to both trustees Jackson and trustee Drucker. But we will take this moment to recognize them because trustee Drucker will be assuming a new seat in the major leagues as of next month. And I personally want to thank him for his service to this board. So.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'd just like to make a couple of comments. First of all, this is all very uncalled for. I'm a superstitious guy, and funny things happen on election night, but be that as it may, I do look forward and welcome this new challenge that I have in front of me if I am fortunate enough to be elected. But it's going to be a little bit bittersweet because I will have some sadness of leaving this college in terms of being a trustee on the board. We had some contentious moments and times over the past 4 years, but I have to tell you, all in all, I enjoyed my experience here immensely. I've made lifetime friends of my fellow trustees. I have tremendous respect and admiration for so many faculty members and administrators here who worked so hard and so diligently and are so committed to this institution. And all I can tell you is that if I am fortunate enough to represent District 16 on the Nassau County Legislature, I intend to handle and tackle that position with the same sort of commitment, integrity, dedication, and passion that I've done here and that you all have done here. So I thank you for your support, I thank you for your friendship, and that's all I have to say.
All right, guys, the next Finance Capital Committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, November 15th. It is not going to be on the election day at 5 p.m. followed by the full board meeting. The board will open up the public session between 6:15 and 6:30 and resume public session at approximately 7:30 p.m. I request a motion to adjourn this meeting. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion.
Do I have a second?
So moved.
Trustee Weiss, all in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Motion carries. Meeting closes at 8:10 p.m. Thank you.